We're here to interview the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin.
And they're not happy. They're really not happy. CNN's Erin Burnett is hopping mad.
Tucker Carlson. They're in Moscow to interview Putin.
Incensed that Tucker might engage in a softball interview.
This was Putin's mouthpiece in the United States.
Because Erin would never engage in a softball interview with a major Eastern European political leader, would she?
As a human being, so many people look up to you. They rely on you. No one can imagine how hard that is. Do you do anything for yourself? Are you ever able to take a minute to read or to listen to music or something to sort of give yourself a moment?
I have such moments important to be in silence, to be alone. And early in the morning, when there are no sounds.
What music do you like?
Wow, such hard-hitting questions, Erin. Not a fawning softball interview at all.
AC/DC, I don't understand all the words. Maybe it's too old, the music for...
I understand. We're the same. Look at them talking about him like a celebrity. Everything he does on camera, breathlessly repeated.
We're the same.
Definitely there as a Putin-supporting celebrity. Look at them talking about him like a celebrity. Look at them talking about him like a celebrity.
But remember, Tucker Carlson's the propagandist for foreign governments. Mainstream media worried Tucker will go easier on Putin than they have gone on Zelensky. Have nothing to worry about.
He can go to Moscow now without any fear of being summarily.
And yet the populations of the English-speaking countries seem mostly unaware. They think that as nothing has really changed. And they think that because no one has told them the truth.
I mean, he's like a puppy dog. You know, he somehow has, after having been fired from so many outlets in the United States, I would not be surprised if he emerges with a contract with an outlet, because he is a useful idiot. He says things that are not true. He parrots Vladimir Putin's pack of lies about Ukraine. So I don't see why Putin wouldn't give him an interview, because through him, he can, continue to lie about what his, objectives are in Ukraine and what he expects to see happen. It's really quite sad that not just somebody like Tucker Carlson, who has, as I said, been fired so many times because he seems unable to, correlate his reporting with the truth, but also because it's a sign that there are people in this country right now who are like a fifth column for Vladimir Putin. And why? I don't know. I mean, why are certain Republicans throwing their lot in? Why are, other Americans basically believing Putin? Why did Trump believe Putin more than our 11 intelligence agencies?
I don't know. Do you have a working theory on that?
I do have a working theory.
As a human being, so many people look up to you. They rely on you. No one can imagine how hard that is. Do you do anything for yourself? Are you ever able to take a minute to read or to listen to music or something to sort of give yourself a moment?
For all the day.
Interview, and I think anybody that watches that interview, now again, I haven't seen it, whatever's said, need to make sure remember you're listening to Vladimir Putin, and you shouldn't take at face value anything he has to say.
We ourselves have put in a request for an interview with Zelensky, and we hope he accepts. But the interviews he's already done in the United States are not traditional interviews. They are fawning pep sessions specifically designed to amplify Zelensky's demand that the U.S. enter more deeply into a war in Eastern Europe.
Sometimes at 6, 7 in the morning, some trainings.
Workout.
Yes, workouts, or to do something with music, or such music, which gives you energy for all the day.
kill list is believed to be the product of the Ukraine Center for Countering Disinformation. Appears to have added Carlson Tuesday, shortly after he confirmed securing the interview with Putin. What pro-democracy folks they are. The Ukraine kill list was created by President Zelensky himself with the backing of the American CIA and NATO itself. That's alarming given the kill list includes names of American citizens and citizens on NATO countries. As it turns out, the covert kill list website is the product of the Ukraine regime, effectively funded by the CIA, amongst others, and is hosted by NATO's David Miller and Mint Press News reported last May. One extraordinary thing is that many American citizens, including ex-military and intelligence operatives, are included, as well as a significant number of citizens of NATO member countries. Perhaps the most remarkable element of the NATO has hosted the site and a collection of affiliated websites on its servers in Brussels. But as I said yesterday, right during this segment at the end of the first hour, he's risking his life. Make no mistake, this is serious business.
Kills people. Americans have a right to know all they can about a war they're implicated in, and we have the right to tell them about it because we are Americans too. Freedom of speech is our birthright. We were born with the right to say what we believe. That right cannot be taken away no matter who is in the White House.
Tucker Carlson is interviewing Vladimir Putin today, and many people believe it's going to go horribly wrong for Tucker. My first question was, is it even legal for a U.S. reporter to go over to a country that we're basically at war with and interview the president of that country? The answer is yes, but I forecast some big problems ahead for Tucker Carlson. The Espionage Act is a U.S. law that basically prohibits us from spying or leaking classified documents to foreign countries. But the words of the law are super broad and could be construed to prohibit any sharing of information with another country with intent to harm the U.S. Is it possible that Tucker shared his questions with Putin's people before the interview? Is it possible that Putin's people provided Tucker with evidence supporting their war with Ukraine? This is definitely information covered by the Espionage Act.
Somebody that we know, that we used to know, going over, doing Vladimir Putin's bidding, attacking Western journalists, saying if only Western journalists would have come over here and tried to even report fairly on the war. Well, there have been Western journalists that have gone over and tried to report fairly on the war. And they're in jail. They're in gulags right now.
Yeah, he'll let a certain kind of journalist in for an interview, but not the ones who ask the questions. And I assure you, NBC and every other news organization in the Western world has a request in for an interview with Vladimir Putin. So it's not for a lack of trying.
He's incredibly wise, and he is also not just wise, he's brave. There obviously has been a lot of lies sold to us. You can just go back and look at what the mainstream media was saying on the first day that Russia invaded Ukraine. It's much of their emotional engineering. People didn't understand what was happening, but we were told that we just have to be okay with billions of dollars going overseas. And this is what I refer to as the political commentariat, where they're controlling your ideas, but you actually don't have access to true information. They're not telling you what the other president that's involved in this conflict is saying. If you dare to share that information, you're being called a Putin puppet. It's pointedly ridiculous, but you actually don't have access. And this is what I refer to as the political commentariat, where they're controlling your ideas, but you actually don't have access to true information. They're not telling you what the other president that's involved in this conflict is saying. If you dare to share that information, you're being called a Putin puppet. It's pointedly ridiculous. Yeah. We need more information in America. We believe in this radical idea of free speech. And Tucker Carlson doing that interview, conducting it despite the fact that the NSA was spying on him, spying on his text messages, trying to prevent that from happening, seeing the way that they are reacting, reading news today that the EU is considering sanctioning Tucker Carlson regarding an interview that they have not even seen, is all you need to know that the majority of the news that you are watching is bought and paid for, and they work to serve the state. And Tucker Carlson has gotten around that, and every individual should watch this interview, not because you should agree with everything that Putin says, but because you should hear different sides and come to conclusions after researching what both sides are saying.